Hello and welcome back to our series of looking at spell animations. Today we're going to be looking at the Rogue, not the Infernal, the Rogue. He's right, look, there he is. The Rogue is another class I'm not entirely familiar with up to max level. I actually got one to 78 and kind of got bored with it and deleted it. It was a terrible Rogue. Terrible Rogue. This is just going to be looking at the spell animations, not necessarily an in-depth or well-educated commentary on what I think will be good or not. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. Our first spec that we're going to take a look at is Assassination. Starting on after immediately, we're going to take a look just at Stealth. As we can see, same basic animation, just the crouch and then the invisibility. Pretty cool, pretty nifty. Taking a look at Ambush, still very similar animation, nothing too new there. Let's take a look at that one more time. So again, still that same look, so again, nothing too new or fancy there. Actually, what's interesting right now on beta is daggers seem to be bugged, and that I obviously have mine out right now because I'm able to attack and I'm doing damage. But yeah, you can't see my daggers, so I don't know what's up with that. Maybe I picked the wrong class right now to go over. But we're committed, we're sticking with this, so we're going for it. Next, we're going to take a look at Garrote. So again, that's still the same animation there. I feel like my haste is insane right now. My attack speed at least. So we get one more look at Garrote. So still that same just kind of backhanded look at it. And that's it. Now with Cheap Shot, let's take a look there. So again, still pretty the same. Pretty much the same. Again, Rogue suffering from the same thing that most melee classes do. And that there's really not a whole lot flashy about their spell animations. They just are pretty straightforward. Hack and slash or stab. So kind of just that downward stabbing motion. Pretty cool. And that's all that really requires Stealth in Assassination. Subtlety has a lot more available to it in Stealth. So we're going to pop out of Stealth now and start looking at our other skills. Mutilate, again, still kind of that same double daggered stab look that we've come to be very familiar with. Looks kind of less intimidating without the two daggers. Looks like you're just like punching the target. So there's that. Shiv. Same stab, just more that purple splash on the target. Envenom, which is one of our combo point abilities. So you get that green slash across the target. You see again, it has that cool little green wave effect there, which is pretty nifty. Let's take a look at Gouge. So he still has that same swirly and disoriented looking kind of effect over the target. How about Weapon Throw? Or Deadly Throw, I'm sorry. So that one's kind of fun, and that it still has that daggered animation to it. Kind of cool. How about Dispatch? So that one's interesting, still has that same little red mini effect to it, that slash there. Cool. This new one, Crimson Tempest, I'm pretty sure it's new. I don't feel familiar with it, so I don't think it's in game currently. So if it isn't new, please do forgive me. But as of right now, I'm saying it's new because it looks new. Looks pretty cool though too. Doesn't require you to be behind a target or anything. It's just a finishing move that slashes the flesh of all enemies within 10 yards. So it's a nice little AoE, and then it causes them to bleed for an additional percentage of the damage done. So this is what Crimson Tempest looks like. So kind of a cool little spinning dagger animation there on the target. Very similar, but still distinctly different from Fan of Knives, which looks like that. Which in and of itself is actually spammable. Which is kind of cool. So that still looks the same. Nothing's really changed there. A whole lot. Still looks very much the same, like a Fan of Knives. How about Blind? Let's take a look at Blind. Okay, so that still does the same thing. I feel like with melee classes, rogues, DKs, though DKs are almost exempt because they're kind of a hybrid of a little bit of casting and spells. More so rogues and warriors, their spell animations are more so in the colors and the effects that go over top of the target, more so than the actual action itself. Shadow Step still functions. Shadow Step still functions the same, in that it just drops you behind the target there. So kind of nifty. That's what it's supposed to do. Rupture still has the same little effect to it. Very, very subtle. Just quick jabbing of the hand, and you see the bleeding over top of it. You can see our poison still kind of ticking away at the target for damage, which is kind of cool. Kidney Shot. So Kidney Shot still looks the same. How about Evasion? So that still has that same little effect to it. We kind of fade out. Almost looks like we're completely stealth. Actually, you know what we are? Same transparency as stealth. It has that little flashy animation to it, so that's kind of nifty. Smoke Bomb. Smoke Bomb still looks the same. Still functions the same. Shuriken Toss still looks the same. Causes your auto attacks to function as though you're throwing a shuriken, which is still pretty OP if you ask me. Distract still looks the same. Let's look at Cloak of Shadows. Okay, so there it is. Just kind of fade you. It almost looks like it makes you look like you're in shadow form, like a shadow priest shadow form. So that's kind of nifty. How about Vanish? So still the same smoky animation to it. And let's take a look at Vendetta. So Vendetta still looks the same, just that tiny little black and purple, almost looking little dot or effect on the target, and that's it. Now, one of our new skills here, most of our stuff is passive. There's a couple active talents. So let's take a look at some of those if we can. Combat Readiness instead of Deadly Throw. So still the floating shurikens around us. Pretty cool effect if you ask me. It lasts for a long time too. Burst of Speed instead of Shadow Step here. So still the same animation. Basically looks the same as Sprint, just different skill. So there's that. Our 75 tier is all passive. Shuriken Toss. Marked for Death. Let's look at Marked for Death. Oh, that's kind of cool. Just puts a little bloody icon or mark over top of the target there. Spiffy. And of course, Anticipation is passive. And then let's take a look at our level 100 talents. Now, I did start in the center here because that's the one I happened to have picked already when I was goofing around in the rogue earlier. But this is what it looks like. It's kind of cool. First, I guess it's worth reading the actual tooltip because the spell itself is actually pretty cool. But it summons a shadow of yourself on the target that will watch you and memorize your offensive ability usage for the next 8 seconds. After this time, it will mimic the memorized abilities on its target over the next 8 seconds. So basically what it does is it sits here, watches what you do, and then it just starts pumping those abilities right back out on the target. While it may not necessarily be the coolest looking skill compared to one of the others I'm going to show you, I can see that being very, very effective, and that's just scary. That's a very scary little burst ability. Rogue burst is already pretty scary as it is, and so that for copying 8 seconds of whatever you're doing and reapplying it and throwing it up on the target just sounds ruthless, because it doesn't really mention anything that it avoids or it doesn't mimic. So basically it just copies all your attacks. Sounds scary as all get out. I can see good rogues taking advantage of that very offensively and defensively, much like mages did with Time Warp. As much as I hate seeing rogues get the upper hand because they're such a tricky little class anyways, I think it'd be cool for rogue players. Now we're going to take a look at Death from Above. This talent itself, pretty cool looking overall. The animation itself is dope. Whether or not it'll be effective is yet to be seen as far as efficiency, but it looks cool. It's one of those skills very much like the Warlock Cataclysm spell. It matches the class very well. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel like you're doing something epic. And I think Blizzard needs more skills like this in the game for all classes. Just overall implementation of things that match the aesthetic and the feel and the vibe for the class that you're playing, and just make it feel like an exciting experience. But without rambling too much, this is Death from Above. So shoots you up in the air and drops you down. It looks awesome. So Death from Above does require combo points, but we'll take a look at that one more time. Yeah, just looks cool. Good job on that one, Blizz. Kind of captured the feel for that ninja assassin look. I think is pretty cool. I wonder if you can do that stealthed. Taking a look at subtlety. Now our talents don't change much, so we're not going to really take a look at those, but some of our main skills do change for the most part. We have Hemorrhage, which still looks the same. It's kind of our standard basic attack, puts that bleed dot up on the target. Shiv still looks the same. You know what I did forget is Shroud of Concealment. It's the ability that puts that giant area of effect around, and any party members in it are stealthed. I think even if it was just on your end, like for animation for yourself, maybe not for everyone else can see it, because that would kind of defeat the point. But it'd be kind of cool to see more than just that circle around it. But I understand obviously why there's no animation for it for everybody to see, or that would defeat the point, because then they would just be able to see where you're at and kind of be able to make a guess at where you're at and just hit the center and there's the rogue and there's your allies. But nevertheless, it still looks the same and it's still a pretty cool skill. One thing that is different is our Eviscerate for subtlety. That is a skill that is subtlety only. So you'll take a look at that now again. So still very much the same. Nothing too fancy there. How about Shadow Dance? So again, not a whole lot really different there. Still just more so just about the skill set you acquire from it, not necessarily the animation effect that's on it. Backstab, almost missed Backstab. So that has some of a unique animation there, and just the three wave slash there coming off of your hands, but nothing too different there. Recuperate still the same effect, kind of the electrical charge around you. Not sure why they went with an electrical charge out of all the things that could have been picked, but that's okay. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just a very interesting choice for a rogue. Now we're going to be taking a look at combat. Combat is the one rogue spec that differs from subtlety and assassination very much. It differs from the other two very, very much as far as maybe play style and just kind of feel for some of your skills. The idea was more for a swashbuckling type of a gameplay, because it is the one that uses does not use daggers, but it uses swords or maces typically for their skill set. Our main attack is different, and it is Sinister Strike. As you can see, that itself has a different animation. There's the purple slashing of the weapon. For combat, again, our talents, as far as the selection, does not change. They are what they are, so there's no use in looking at those again. But we have our revealing strike, which puts that debuff on the target, but again, not too much there as far as the animation goes. Blade flurry, so it puts that little animation around us there. But again, nothing has really changed too much on that. Killing spree. So that one, still the same looking animation there. Makes us go all shadowy and dark behind the target, and there it is. And then adrenaline rush. So not too much by way of animation there either. So again, same kind of position that warriors are in that just not a whole lot's really changed. I put them efficiency, I suppose, in melee classes comes in them actually just being able to kind of get up front and bring that aggressive play style. So not too flashy. Definitely not like a mage or a warlock or anything like that. I don't think I missed anything. No, that's really about it. I'm sorry there wasn't too much more to really go over. Kind of straightforward. I know these videos with classes like rogues don't tend to be as exciting because there's not a whole lot flashy to show. But at the same time, I don't want to skip over classes just because they don't have anything pretty or fun. But we'll keep moving along. I'm thinking we'll do hunters next. Let's do hunter. Yeah, hunters sound good. So next video for spell animations will be hunters. If you enjoyed the video, or if you are enjoying the videos that we're putting up on the channel, I do suggest you subscribe. Would love to have you stick around. Continue to put up more content like this. I'm looking forward to doing some more skirmishes soon to get those up, especially with classes that I may or may not be familiar with, and just kind of going in blind. Like the DK one we did. I've played a DK before, but that was the first time that I've actually played one on beta. Everything else had been just kind of against target dummies and learning the spells and skills and kind of getting your feel for what was gone. So that was kind of fun to just kind of jump in there blind and see how we did. But with that, that's going to do it. So I'm going to say goodbye, farewell, have a great day, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching.